There's a certain story in the Bible that I believe we should all take encouragement from. And that certain story is the story of Joseph, where he talked about his life and all the things he went through and circumstances he faced in order to get to where God had called him to. He had a dream, a very the very dream that led him to greatness, a dream that led him to situations where he never expected in his life because he couldn't tell the future. In his dream, he had a dream that the moon and the stars and sun would literally be bowing down to him. And he told his father about this dream and his brothers also. And when he told them about this dream, his father saw it in the aspect in which he being the youngest, what do you mean that your brothers and your father and your mother will literally bow down to you? And he saw it as, it was just a dream. And he didn't know the situation or what exactly how this dream was going to come to pass. But one thing he did was to trust in God because he worshipped the same God his father worshipped. And we all have to understand aspects in which it's always about trusting in God no matter what. And his life was chaotic. He went to prison. Sorry, he was accused of molestation, which he never did, and then went to prison and spent years in prison before he was called on by Pharaoh to interpret a dream. But we have to understand that even as his life was chaotic and the things he went through, God provided for him everything he needed. God never let him starve. God never let him, be in eyes of danger. God protected him, provided for him, and saw him through, even in that chaos. So we need to take this back and understand aspects in which God is going to always be by our side. Because when He has given you something or He has called you to greatness, and when He has told you to transition from where you are to where you are going to go to, we have to trust in Him. It might look uncertain, it might be chaotic, it might be confusing, but you have to trust in God. Because when He has called you to it, He will provide you with all that you need in order to succeed it. You have to be obedient and trust in God, even in the chaos. The chaos, it's everywhere. Situations happening left and right, things literally bringing you down and literally draining you. But you can always take it to God and you can always trust in God, just as Joseph did. And look at him. At the end of the day, he ended up in a place where even he could not take himself, but God took him there. So we have to understand that greatness that God is calling you to, you have to understand that only God can take you there, but you first have to trust in Him, even in the chaos.